one game away. Blow up. We're playing for something, man. We're playing for something. It's gotta mean something to you. It gotta mean something. Everything you got. Everything you got. Let's finish this.
Do it, fellas.
Let's go.
Let's do it, fellas.
Finish 2-3. 1, 2, 3. Finish.
You ready to make history? Come on now. Yeah. You know, there's these two words. And when I say them, people get goosebumps cause they know what happens next. So without further ado,
Free smoke.
look. Scared cause I'm drowning in silence with bad thoughts. These days I don't have nothing to say, man, the bag talks. I put in headphones on my driver. Pull up to the spot and give a good dick and Godiva. I can't lie, I'm uninspired. No more pillow talking about nonsense. I only stick around to put some band-aids on my conscience. I don't know why I feel so bad, nigga. That's what we do, no foundation. We don't build no more, we just screw. Half a bottle of Henny, girl, I'm going with the wind. The same niggas say they happy for me, ain't want me to win. So I'm done on my friends. Don't need help popping Coronas and reminiscing. I just call up Big Bro J and say it's time for venting. If I live forever, I hold this hate for some centuries. You don't know how much of how you doing would have meant to me, but motherfuck all that. I don't even offer up the time to make the call back. Stupid Lodo, if they don't get the picture now, man, I crop them out of the photo. I can't relate to my peers. Been doing this shit for years. I'm motivated by fears. I took the wheel and I steer. My sound not dictated by fuck boys in Atlanta. Stay gifted like this album was ghost written by Santa. Boss forever like they decided to throw me under slammer. Every song's a hit like they picture me underhanders. I could drop a million songs, but they never gon' understand us. Soapbox sermons for niggas never giving chances. Fight our whole lives to get these weak ass advances. Work twice as hard for the shit that they getting handed. And this ain't even nothing we chose, nigga, we branded. Still can't tell why all of these niggas mad at me. I'm trying to get 100 so I can put my team on salary. Give it all to the art, man, I turn my life to a gallery. Man, damn, what a fucked up masterpiece. 1,100 shots and I swear, man, I felt them all. If we ain't even good on our blocks, man, who can we call? Pre-decline state of mind, we broke crabs in the barrel. Got us fighting our folk, man, this shit just a life of peril.
Winning has a price. And leadership has a price.
I know I'm better than this. I know. I'm just praying for the Lord to deliver me from pick sixes.
Welcome back to another episode of Kicking It with Saint. Yo, I appreciate the comments, man. I didn't respond to them because I saw them as soon as I woke up early this morning. Well, when I woke up doesn't matter. Just know I appreciate the comments. I'm gonna respond to comments again. I don't want y'all to think it's about to be a habit of me not responding to y'all comments. I just knew I was gonna respond to them in this show. So I appreciate all the well wishes, the thoughts. I hope all of you had unbelievable holidays. I didn't even get to talk about my holiday in the last show. You see what I'm saying? Usually I talk to y'all for a bit before the show start. Or when the show start. Before we get into things, I usually do a lot of talking. Yapping, as the young kids say. I didn't do that last show, so let's get into it. You know what I'm saying? The holidays were great for me. I hope it was great for you guys. Now, if you listen to the show, if you done followed me for some time, I'm not a fan of Thanksgiving food. All right. Thanksgiving food, for some reason, a lot of people that I know eat the same thing for Christmas. Now, a lot of people nowadays, though, like a couple newer, younger folks now, their families don't have like the same thing anymore. My family don't no more either. Like, we change it up on Christmas. Like this Christmas, we had pot roast, beef tips or steak, whichever you want to call it. What was that other meat, bro? We had pizza on Christmas Eve. We had a big breakfast. So for breakfast, we had a great dinner, but it wasn't what we had for Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving dinner was horrible to me this year. My sisters always do the Thanksgiving dinner, and they like to go with traditional Thanksgiving type foods, and that is annoying. Me and my cousin them, though, we throw down for Christmas, bro. Like, we make sure the menu is something that everybody gonna want to fuck with. But listen, we do Christmas breakfast also. And the meats for Christmas breakfast were bacon, Bob Evans sausage patties, It was another meat. It's another meat that I know. I'm finna wait to say that one, but it was another meat that I'm forgetting. We had sausage patties. We had bacon. We had some other meat that I'm not remembering at the moment. But the other meat that we had, the fourth meat that we had, was liver pudding. And I don't know if anybody who listen know what liver pudding is. I used to eat that shit growing up all the time. I know some people call it liver mash or some other weird shit, but it's called liver pudding on the pack by Nessie. Yo, I be fucking that shit up, yo. I love liver pudding. I don't eat liver. The only thing liver I eat is liver pudding, bro. And that shit is unreal. Unreal. I love liver pudding. Breakfast was great, but we had a great Christmas dinner. We played Uno on Christmas Eve. I had to whoop some ass, because it's real funny when people don't. I think I actually told y'all this. It's real funny when people don't understand the rules to a game and they losing at it because I know the rules because I play Uno a lot. How now I'm the cheater. I won like four games in a row, and then my cousin won 2 games in a row. Off of some of the flukiest shit you might have ever seen. But I didn't bitch and complain about it. I gave my mans his dubs. He was talking big shit. We was playing the 5 wins. I legitimately won the next 3 games. I had already picked up the 5th one. I said, let me just keep going. And then he wanted me to keep going. And once he wanted me to keep going, that's when I said, I done had enough. Pause. That sentence was getting wild. But when I was done playing, once he wanted me to continue to play the game of Uno, I said, I'm good. I'm ready to call it a night. See, that's how you're supposed to do them. When they want you to keep playing, that's when you say, I'm good. It was a great night. I hope you guys had a great night. I hope whichever holiday you celebrate, Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, whatever holiday you celebrate, blessings. Blessings, blessings. Happy New Year. New Year, same me, baby. We hope we progress. We hope we do some things a little bit better, but I can't see, I'm not finna I'm making changes for the better, hopefully, but hopefully we do that every year round. You know what I'm saying? Just because the year change don't, we got to play the famous LaMelo edit. New year, same me, baby. Anyways, if you are one of those people who are addicted to tweeting out New Year, New Me every year, I will not fault you for that. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. New Year's Eve, I did not go out. I am at that age. I don't even want to say I'm at that age because at no point in my life have I ever wanted to go spend New Year's at a club, at a bar. I've always wanted to be in my own fucking house on New Year's Eve. If people are there celebrating it with me, cool. But I have never wanted to be out partying at other people's cribs and shit like that on New Year's, bro. I've never been that person. So while I am 30, I have never wanted in my 20s. I do a lot. Listen, I'm just not the partying type of guy. Antisocial, if you will. But I'm a very likable guy. Very sociable. But very antisocial, if you will. It's just I don't put myself in ridiculous situations, okay? I go to the movies. I go bowling. I go skating. And in the back of my mind, I'm praying nothing go wrong. I'm not going to the club with a bunch of drunk, testosterone-filled niggas. All right? I've been playing Among Us online. A lot of women have been in these lobbies. They drink a lot. And they start just getting too emotional for me. You mix too much testosterone, too much emotion and alcohol, and you're going to have yourself a problem every time. Bad decision making. I make a lot of bad decisions. That's not one of them. I don't go to clubs. I don't go out partying at random niggas' houses, random people houses. I don't trust bitches just because they... Apologies. I don't trust every beautiful woman I see. We got to be a little bit smarter. Okay? So, my New Year's Eve or New Year's, whatever you want to call it, to celebrate, I spent it on it's funny that I talked about those emotional women because I was playing Among Us on New Year's Eve with a group of the homies, a lot of homies. We did our New Year's Eve thing, but we played Among Us too. Yo, I had to get offline for like an hour because this Shorty almost made me lose my religion, yo. Shorty almost made me. See, the one thing I don't do, I'm not finna be arguing with motherfuckers online. I'm not doing that. I want to fight you. I can't do that. So I'm not finna sit here and argue with your ass online. That's just not gonna happen. I will ignore you. I will mute you. I will leave the game. What you not gonna do is get me hyped online. You're not gonna get a crazy reaction out of it. You're not gonna get none of that. I might goof off with you and like talk shit to you, like call you name, but you're not gonna get me out of character. That's not gonna happen. And you lucky if I even give you attention. This Shorty was wildin'. We were playing Among Us. It was like 5 people left in the game. I don't know if you know how this game goes. I just don't feel like explaining it. So just hear me out. The 2 imposters that was left. I knew I didn't know exactly who the 2 imposters were, but I knew I knew for 100% fact it couldn't have been 3 different people. Me and 2 other dudes. It was 3 people left. I knew for a fact that I thought one of them. So this is actually crazy because how can you know for a fact but thought? So I was about 90% sure that one of them was Shorty. I was about 80% sure the her teammate was this orange one because the other Shorty's color was orange. The other one I couldn't vouch for because I hadn't seen that match. When the match started, the lights went out. I saw Shorty go to the bottom of this room. She opened the door. In the time that she opened that door, she had enough time to turn on the lights. If you are a crewmate, most of the time, you're going to make your way to fix the lights. Now, I'm not telling you that every crewmate does that because I don't fix lights a lot of different times because I don't want to die at the lights. But the match had just started. So it was a great chance if you died at the light. Regardless, it was enough time for her to have fixed the lights. Now I didn't even say she had to fix the lights. I just said in my mind, my sus is that she could have fixed the lights and chose not to in that time frame. Now, later on in that match, I saw somebody else come from lights fixing the lights. So why would I sus somebody who I just saw fix the lights? Shorty could have fixed the lights and didn't. This dude fixed the lights and I saw him fix the lights. Why would I sus him? Shorty got mad and started saying we was gatting. Mind you, we ended up voting her out off of my sus. I did not know at the time if she was imposter or not, but she kept talking. You're supposed to mute when you get voted out or when you die. Shorty kept talking. She would not shut the fuck up. So I'm thinking to myself, damn, I might have actually voted out a crewmate, but I was like, it don't really matter because it was between her and these other 2. I know for a fact it's 2 of these 3. She ended up getting somebody else on her side because she kept trying to say like, oh, he gaslighting me. I didn't even realize she was talking about me at first, to be honest with you, because I wasn't paying it no attention. But the more I talked, the more she kept saying like, he gaslighting me. So I'm like, oh, Shorty clearly is talking about me. So I responded like, yo, what are you talking about? Like, I'm not gaslighting you. Like, I played the game exactly the way the game is supposed to be played. If you're not one of the imposters, I was like, that's on me. But we finna get the other 2 out. Like, I'm not thinking that she making this a big deal yet. Boy, was I wrong. For like the next 10 minutes, she just keep going. We having a hard time finishing the game because she won't shut the fuck up. By the end of the game, we end up voting out the other. Now, I'm thinking is 2 other people because of how she going so crazy. Come to find out she was one of the imposters. Her and the other one. So, indeed, 2 of the 3 that I said it had to be, it was. Not only that, I never even said it was the 3rd person. The 3rd person, I just never saw him, so I couldn't defend him. I said because of where the body is and the route of Orange, I think Orange killed this body. And I said because the lights didn't get fixed and this person could have, I think Rose, Shorty, is the other one. My guy, you would have thought she would have chilled out after it was like we won. She went on for another 15, 20 something minutes. Then she started calling me a monkey. And she was black. She started calling me a monkey. And I wouldn't give her no reaction the whole time. The whole time I'm trying, and I was like, yo, I believe this is the wrong game for you. Like you too emotional on this game. Like I'm not gaslighting you. I sussed you. I gave you great reasoning as to why. And then she started saying shit that didn't matter or didn't exist. She was like, well, if I had not fixed the light in a different game, you would have done the same thing. I'm like, Shorty, I've never played this game with you before. So you don't know what I would have done in a different game. And context matters. What would have been the context in that, in the future game? Like, I'm not finna get into this. This is why men, any man that's listening right now, I'm finna teach you something that I learned a long time ago. This is why I don't get into shouting matches or arguing matches with women, because they say and do stupid shit like this when they get over emotional. And I'm not telling you all women do this, but it's a good handful of women, even women who will try to deny it, know that this is a fact. Sometimes they just say and do just some of the most ignorant, like her emotion is what made her start her emotion is what started making her call me a monkey. I never insulted Shorty one time. I had the utmost respect. Now, was I getting irritated? Absolutely. Now, the reason I left is because I was about to start getting disrespectful. I was finna start matching her level of disrespect. So I just left the whole game in the party because I was like, man, I ain't got time for this. However, when a woman get over emotional, and I don't know why she would have thought we was gaslighting her. Literally, the game is to try to guess who is the imposters with the evidence and the things that I am given, like, and the information I am given. Like, I don't understand still why she would have thought she was being gaslit, especially since I got it right in my. Nonetheless, some women will start just when they get so emotional and mad, even if it's for no motherfucking reason and they are at fault, they just start getting disrespectful. You gotta be the type of motherfucker who laugh it off and just understand I'm not finna argue with you. But one of the things that some women will do, because that's what she started, when she started creating all these unrealistic scenarios and things that haven't happened. We're talking about what did happen. She trying to create scenarios that haven't happened. It's a common thing with women. This is why when women get into your argument with you, and one of the things they always say is, when you tell them they did something wrong or when you tell them they misstepped or something, they'll say, well, give me an example. Never give an example. Because you would not have said that if it was not multiple examples. And she know it's multiple examples. The day that when she asks you to give an example and you start sitting there like a dumbass giving her actual examples, you have already lost. You're doing exactly what she wants you to do. Argue. When a motherfucker say, and I don't really care if it's women do it the most, but I done ran into men who do it a lot too. Anytime a motherfucker be like, give me an example of what you talking about, your response should always be, I don't play that game. I'm not giving you a fucking example. You know exactly what the fuck you've done, did, or did. I'm not playing this game with you. I don't get into the give me an example. You know the examples, my guy. Homie, I'm not playing that game with you. Remember that. All right? That's how you dead those type of, because I'm just not an argumentative type of dude. I'm not arguing with you. I'm just not. So, that was my New Year's. After I chilled out for a good little hour, got my levels of wanting to disrespect the nigga back down to zero, I re-entered the lobby and I balled out. Now, it was a specific someone in that lobby who should have, who was attacking me, who was a homie of mine, and she was attacking me. Now, she apologized and everything afterwards, but some of her rhetoric throughout the whole thing, it wasn't even that she was talking crazy. It's just she was trying to say people are. I hate it when motherfuckers be like, I hate it when people argue. No, listen to why we are arguing. Or for one, I'm not even arguing with you. Listen to what is the issue at hand. I hate a motherfucker who be like, they both arguing, so they both getting on my nerves. No, maybe some nigga got a point in this. Listen to it, and if you don't want to hear it, then you leave. I was playing with somebody the other day, pause, who, and he was like, if anybody arguing, I'm kicking everybody, both the people who arguing. And so later on in the game, 2 people was arguing, but it wasn't really an argument. This one shorty got mad because a dude had voted her out, and he thought that she thought he was targeting her because he killed her multiple times. Now, I was watching him kill her, and he had no choice but to kill her. He was in the room with her for like 5 minutes by himself. He left out the room to go see if it was anybody else near. Nobody else was near, and he killed her. She immediately spazzed out, snitched on him, and started saying like, oh, you, and he was like, I'm gonna kick both people. I'm like, bro, how is you kicking him? And she the one who spazzed out from him playing the game. That's what I'm saying. Among Us, you can play against some shorties who get very emotional in these Among Us lobbies. And I don't want y'all women to think I'm just attacking the women, because I done played with a bunch of dudes who act just as bad as women, who act just like straight bitches when they get sussed or something like that. I played with a dude the other day, and I guessed it was him, but it really wasn't a guess. Like, I mapped out exactly how I thought it could have been him, what he would have done to get this kill and everything. And one little detail in my story, mind you, it wasn't me saying factual what happened. This was me giving just my thoughts on what I think could have happened. One of my thoughts wasn't completely accurate. I mean, I didn't know if my shit was accurate at all. That's why it was a thought. My thought ended up being right. Buddy spazzed out just because a part of what I said wasn't true. I'm like, my guy, I didn't know if any of this shit was true. I'm playing the game. Like, this is what I'm saying, man. People, that's what 2025, man. I need people who play the games to be a lot less emotional. Let's work on that. All right. Anyways, we got a lot of playoff football ahead of us. And Saturday, oh my goodness, we got a lot of great games on Saturday, and we got Sunday games. We got a whole slate, all right? We got Chargers, Texans, Baltimore, Pittsburgh. That'll kick off Saturday night. And then Sunday, we get Denver, Buffalo, Green Bay, Philly, Washington, Tampa Bay. Monday, we get Minnesota, LA. Let's talk about it. Start off with the Chargers and the Texans. I'm not starting off with the Chargers and the Texans, obviously. Baltimore, Pittsburgh, because at the end of the day, this is still a Baltimore fan breaking this shit down. So we're starting with the Baltimore Ravens. And I was thinking to myself earlier today, and I've been thinking to myself this probably for the last 2 days. Why have I not given Baltimore the respect that they so rightfully, the offense at least, that they deserve? All right. And what do I mean when I say that? Because obviously Saint throws on his cape for Lamar Jackson. You never hear Saint talk bad about Lamar. What could you possibly be talking about, Saint? Well, I have doubt when it comes to the Ravens this Saturday. And I think it's a healthy doubt, but maybe it's an unnecessary doubt. I can't figure it out yet. And this is why. When the Chiefs was at their peaks, right? When they looked like the best team in the league. Not just we said it because of their history, but when they actually looked like the best team in the league. They got it done throughout the playoffs. When the Rams looked like the best team in the NFC, when the Eagles looked like the best team in the NFC, when the 49ers looked like the best team in the NFC, not just fans or the media. I'm talking about when they actually had the rosters, the performances, when everything said that this is the best team in the NFC, they all got to the Super Bowl. And then I look at the Ravens. When they were the best in the AFC, they didn't get to the Super Bowl. They usually underachieved under Lamar Jackson. Whoa, Raven fans, calm down. That's not me taking a shot at Lamar Jackson. Just hear me out. So I think that's where that doubt came from. But then I had to remind myself, well, Saint, you actually watched these games. You watched those past games from those other teams you just named. And you watched these games with Lamar Jackson. That's true. Did the Ravens truly, did you truly believe going into those playoffs, at every phase of the game, the Ravens were absolutely the best in the AFC? Or did the record or the quarterback's performance make you believe that? And that's when I started to say, interesting. Having a conversation with myself. I thought to myself, the Ravens didn't have a good receiving game these past couple years like they have this year. They didn't have the reliable receivers that they have this year. They didn't have the reliable offensive, creative game planner that they have these past 2 years, but now this year with even more weapons. They never had a Derrick Henry. They didn't have that. Zay Flowers in year 2 is going to be better than Zay Flowers in year 1. Mind you, they didn't have a Zay Flowers earlier. Rashad Bateman is having the best season in his career by a landslide because were those rosters truly better than those Chief rosters when the Chiefs looked like the absolute best? Or did Lamar Jackson have great seasons and so we were hyped going it? And then I thought to myself, this Baltimore roster, this is the one. Now, I have had doubts because we played the Steelers 3 times. It's more of a divisional thing than it is a doubt in the Ravens. I just know how divisional games go. However, after really thinking about this game and going back over the last 2 times we played them this year, I do expect the Ravens to win this game. Because the only way the only 2 paths to victory that I can see for Pittsburgh is if Lamar just have one of the worst games now it don't even have to be his career. Let him just have the worst game of the season. Let him play into the narrative that every hater out there say he just is a terrible quarterback in the playoffs. If that's the Lamar that show up, the Pittsburgh will have a path to victory in this game. They will probably win the game if that happens. And then to me, the second path to victory for Pittsburgh would be the Ravens just turning the ball over left and right. If they can create a shit ton of turnovers on the Ravens that they get, or penalties, if they can create the turnovers and penalties, because I don't actually think they'll survive with just penalties. You have to get both of those. And then I think those are the 2 paths to victory, I think. Because if the Ravens do what they are supposed to do, what they can do, what we've seen them do, the Ravens shouldn't lose this game. To me, it's not even just about the Kenny Pickett problem in Pittsburgh, because I don't even think it's just Pittsburgh's offense. I think a lot of problems right now exist with Pittsburgh. Like I saw a stat the other day that said that Najee Harris done ran for 1,000 yards his first 5-6 years of his career. Najee Harris got like a 3.9 or 3 at yards per carry in his career. I get on here every year and tell you that Najee Harris run for 1,000 yards does not matter. He is not a game changer running back. He is a product of the Steelers running the ball so much. Najee Harris is, to me, not a great running back. To me, Najee Harris, and I said this before, Pittsburgh will find great success once they run a 2-man running back scheme. And that's exactly what they do now. It's funny because they run Najee kind of like they should run Jalen Warren, and they run Warren the way they should run Najee at times. It's unbelievable, but nonetheless, I think the Ravens' run defense will be, I don't think Najee in the run game for Pittsburgh will go crazy against Baltimore defense. Well, they might have a play or two, but I don't think they'll be game changing to where it gives Pittsburgh an advantage in the game. Because Baltimore hasn't shown all year that they're going to let you run crazy on them or run good on them. The next thing, the problem for me when it comes to Pittsburgh is the fact that you are so heavily reliant on Pickens for your offense to be great, but you don't draw up plays for George Pickens to be great. Like it really don't make sense. You rely on George Pickens to go get the go ball, but you don't draw up like 5, 6, 7 easy plays in the beginning of the game to get him catches. Like that's why I love Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Look at the type of routes they run. They run every route in the route tree, and they will line up anywhere because Joe Burrow is going to get them motherfuckers the ball early and often, so that they go crazy in that fourth quarter. George Pickens is supposed to be a top tier receiver talent, but they scheme him up like he Marquise Brown or something. Like, they don't act like he a number one receiver. And that's very confusing to me when it comes to Pittsburgh. Like, I was thinking about it last week when they played against Cincinnati. Why are you not having plays that's drawn up for George Pickens to get him going early? For him and Russ to get on page early. Now watch these motherfuckers go into Baltimore and start doing it. But to me, one of the biggest problems with Pittsburgh, they don't draw up easy plays to get George Pickens going. They only rely so heavily on that go ball when it comes to George Pickens. And then one of my problems, now I love Russ, but I done told you, Ross, I done been very upfront about the things that I think is Russ's flaws in his career throughout his entire career, because his flaws have remained the same. This is why I think people really got to get into a habit of respecting quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson, Pat Mahomes, Josh. When you see a quarterback like Lamar Jackson, now I done said it multiple times that I think Lamar and Pat Mahomes is two of the only quarterbacks who I saw every single year you can see a different thing that they done improved in that game that make them better. For Lamar, it was talent aspects of his game that he continued to improve along with his IQ and things like. For Pat, the talent was already there, so you saw him improve in different types. How to be coached, willingness to be coached, willingness to not take these crazy plays all the time, willingness to take what's there. Like, you done seen the maturity and growth and improvements every year with something different in the game of Lamar and Pat Mahomes. And I think that's what make these two of the best quarterbacks, the two best quarterbacks in the NFL, Pat 1, Lamar 2, respectfully. When you think about Russ, over his career, and I really do love Russ, man. I'm a big Russ defender when he was with Denver and everything. But it's two things that I think that have really hurt Russ throughout his career. He is not great from the pocket, meaning he get a little too antsy in the pocket to where he run into sacks, which lead into the next problem. But he'll run into sacks. He'll run himself out of good. Like, sometimes you just got to stand in the pocket and make a throw. It just is what it is. You cannot rely on the play breaking down all the time. And when Russ was in Seattle in his youth, he could rely on his play breaking down, because back then defenses weren't as accustomed to plays breaking down and having athletic quarterbacks at that time. The boom hadn't really officially started yet. So, and then I know we love to act like no quarterback had talent, but Russ had a lot of talent over there in Seattle on the offensive side of the ball. We like to act like it was just a Legion of Doom, but they had studs over there. Golden Tate, Baldwin. Like I said, that boy Lockett been over there for a minute. DK Metcalf, Smith and Jigba. I still don't understand why Russ left Seattle and didn't just try to get Pete Carroll fired. I really don't. But Russ done had the talent to where he could get away with playing backyard football. The play breakdown, he lose all fundamentals. My receiver gonna make a play because coverage can't hold up that long. But the older Russ got, the more his athleticism and injuries done waned on. You see he cannot get away with doing that shit all the time. And when you lose, and then it really put a light on the fundamentals that Russ lacked. So his lack of pocket awareness, because Russ is one of the least aware pocket quarterback. When a quarterback is in the pocket and the pressure is coming and it's coming from all different, Russ got to be like top 5 worse at pocket awareness. Like, I don't watch damn near every Russell Wilson game his whole career. Russell Wilson is special. You could probably take away half of Aaron Donald's sacks if he didn't play against Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray, both of which have bad pocket awareness. Kyler is nowhere near as bad to me as Russ. But when you have bad pocket awareness and your pocket composure is bad, then that probably leads to you taking a lot of unnecessary sacks, which is the second biggest problem with Russell Wilson. Right now, if the check down is not there for Russell Wilson, you can't rely on Russ to be, and first off, before I start getting into this, Justin Fields is not the answer. If you start Justin Fields, the Ravens are going to win that game by a huge margin. You have a chance with Russ. You have no chance to beat this Baltimore team with Justin Fields. I'm just telling you that right now. I pray they have Justin Fields start this game, because that would just be fucking stupid. Now, see, that right there would be a fireable offense to me by Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin haven't had a fireable offense as long as I done probably known him coaching. You bench Russell Wilson for Justin Fields to start this game, that's a fireable. That would be telling me Mike Tomlin don't want to be here no more. But when you look at how the only thing right now that the Steelers offense can rely on is if George Pickens don't have the go ball, Russell Wilson is just checking it down. That's the only throw that he hit on time, really, is the check down. Nothing else is on time, because if he in the pocket and the pressure get there, he antsy. He don't really, because Russ has never had the coach that basically, or quarterback coach or whatever it is that teach you to be more mature in the pocket, as developed, be a better, like look at Peyton, look at Tom, look at Lamar, look at Pat, look at Josh. These dudes will stand in the pocket. Hell, even Cam, at certain points in his career, they just stand in the pocket. They know they're going to take a hit. They just take that hit. They know. This is one of the things I used to say about Baker Mayfield. This is why I used to call him Happy Feet, because in the pocket, he started jumping around, shaking, doing all this vibrating and shit. And I'm like, oh, he about to throw an interception. And go look at Baker's career. All throughout his career. That's how you know I watch these games, baby. I told you, I could not miss a Baker Mayfield game after he said that bullshit about Lamar. But when you watch Baker Mayfield, the key to know when he finna throw a turnover is he start jumping around. He get antsy in the pocket. He start moving a lot. He look like he doing the Dak Prescott warm up, looking everywhere. You like, oh shit, here it come, and boom, interception. He do it all the time. He is damn near 9 for 9, and that's me being very generous, because it took everything in my soul not to say 10 for 10. Go look at the highlights. Is Baker better now than he was in Cleveland? I would hope so, after this many years in the league. But he ain't no star. This fallacy that we like to act like Cleveland did Baker so dirty. He had no talent in Cleveland. Baker has had talent everywhere he has been, except for Carolina. And he wasn't a talent himself. That's why you didn't see him uplift the talent. But you see talent uplift Baker everywhere he go. But people on the media like to act like, oh, look at Baker, look at Baker. I digress. But Russell Wilson's problem of his lack of quarterback, his lack of pocket awareness, and this just uncanny ability to take some of the worst, most unnecessary sacks that you've seen a quarterback take. I mean, I done seen Russ take sacks and Russ has been in the league for 10 plus years. Russ shouldn't be taking sacks that you see Caleb Williams taking. I mean, and Russ is in Seattle, in Denver, and Pittsburgh. It's the same. His pocket awareness has not gotten any greater. That's why they try to get the ball out of his hands so quick. You don't have Russ hold on to the ball, just like you don't have Baker hold on to the ball. Because when they start getting antsy, when they got to overstimulate that brain, when they got to start jumping around and the pressure is not really there, but they done simulated the pressure in their heads, that's when bad shit happens. Russell Wilson, to me, right now, I don't know if you would call... The Steelers done this before, so it's not shocking to me, where they start the season hot and then they end the season bad. And I think the biggest problem with the Steelers is they don't have a quarterback. And it's not even that they don't have a quarterback, because in the NFC right now, if you take this exact Steelers team and put them in the NFC, they're probably one of the best teams in the NFC, legitimately. The problem is Lamar, Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Stroud, Herbert. It's just an oversaturation of young, good quarterbacks. And then you got them two big dogs at the top. Then you got the four horsemen over there in Lamar, Mahomes, Burrow, Allen. It's tough. It's tough. Like, to expect Mike Tomlin to have to outcoach every single great quarterback he play every single time he play him is an outrageous thing to ask a head coach, in my opinion. I think that's outrageous. I tell you, everybody get paid for a reason. And I'm not telling you that Russ ain't doing his job. I'm just telling you it's limitations. Like, we can't always expect people to have outer body experiences every game. When the competition become stiff, when you start playing teams that's better than you or just as good as you, that you become what you are. Like, you can't expect an outer body experience. Now, Am I telling you that the Ravens are that much better than the Steelers? In some areas, no, but offensively, absolutely, which is why if the Ravens come in and do their job, they should win this game. I don't care about TJ Watt. They found a way to neutralize TJ Watt last game. I don't care about Cam Hayward. I don't care about Alex Highsmith. I don't care about Preston Smith. I don't care about none of that. If the Ravens do their job, they should win this game. Point blank, period. I said it before. I am done with excuses. Well, I don't even think the Ravens have had excuses in the past, to be honest with you. Last year, you could legitimately make an argument they should have won that game. This year, much like last year for me, it's no excuses. The Ravens have the team to win the Super Bowl. They have the team to get to a Super Bowl and win it. They have the quarterback to get to a Super Bowl and win it. Everybody has to do their job. If everybody does their job, this Ravens team, I don't know if Lamar will ever have a collection of players play as great as they are playing on offense than he has right now. I'm not telling you that it's impossible, but I just don't see Baltimore going out and getting a T. Higgins, a Jamar Chase type of player. So, at where they are right now, like I said about Joe Burrow in the past, like I said about Josh Allen with his time with Stephon Diggs, you have to capitalize on greatness while you have it. Lamar has never had an offense and offensive pieces around him, offensive coaching around him as good as it is right now. And I think he know that, and I think everybody on this team understand that. You have never had a Derrick Henry. I'm not finna keep talking about, one of the things that keep annoying me is how people keep saying, oh, they didn't run the ball, they forgot what they were. This is how you know analysts do not, they got those numbers there for no reason, and they don't watch games. At what point did Lamar Jackson have a Derrick Henry in his backfield before this year? Lamar Jackson was the leading rusher for the Ravens the past couple years. Gus and JK is not trash. He is just injury prone like a motherfucker. Gus is trash. Unless you need a 1 yard touchdown. I'm tired of motherfuckers juicing up Gus Edwards, yo. If those are the two running backs I have in my backfield, I'm going to stop running the ball more than likely also. It just is what it is. When you have a future first ballot Hall of Famer who is still running having some of the best runs of his life right now, you will not forget to give him the ball. So I'm not finna be petty and childish and start saying stupid shit like that just for some clicks. Oh, they got to remember to run the ball. They won't forget to run the ball with Derrick Henry. Now, I'm emotionally invested in this, obviously, because I'm a Raven fan. But more so than that, I watch a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff with the Ravens, obviously like most people do with their teams. And I hear a lot how people talk about groups that they win championships with. And I guess it's no different in life. When you do something great with a group of people, you always remember it. When you have a magical night of gaming where everything is funny, the food is great, the conversation, that you never forget that night with the homies. I need the Ravens to win a Super Bowl, man. I need Derrick Henry to be talked about in Baltimore forever. Lamar is going to be talked about in Baltimore forever regardless. And this is the unfortunate reality for some Baltimore fans. They don't want to hear this, but Lamar Jackson could never win a Super Bowl and he'll be talked about in Baltimore forever. That's just the reality. But I know Lamar don't want that. We don't want that as fans. And I know Baltimore don't want that, but that's just the reality. But Derrick Henry, we'll say, well, he had a year, you know what I'm saying? He won a Super Bowl. And I'm not even one of them people who be like, well, Lamar got to be the main guy. No. See, that's why I love Lamar. Lamar don't even think to himself, I got to be the main guy. And I told you, that's one of the things that I think has held the Bills and it haven't actually held the Bills back. It has held the Chargers back before now. See, now the Chargers have a head coach in Jim Harbaugh who don't give a damn about Justin Herbert throwing for 300 yards every fucking game. If it was up to him, Herbert would throw the ball 10 times a game and they run it 30 times a game. He does not give a flying fuck about Justin Herbert throwing for crazy yards and all these stats. That will help Justin Herbert in the long run. All he care about is winning. See, what he is teaching Justin Herbert is how to win. You don't have to look beautiful every time you win a game, my guy. You just got to win it. They talk about the win, not about how beautiful you look. Now, Justin, you are one of those people who, when you lose, They will still find a way to talk about how beautiful you are in the loss, but you don't want that because that'll wear off eventually. You see some people starting to question Joe Burrow. Last year, people started to question you. That beauty eventually wear off because it'll always be another dude to come in that's just as beautiful to the media than you are. It happened all the time. So eventually, you're going to have to learn how to win games. Look at Trevor Lawrence. So the best thing to me that happened to Justin Herbert was Jim Harbaugh coming in. Now, I don't know if Jim Harbaugh will get him to where he need to be as far as you cannot rely on Justin Herbert. Teaching Justin Herbert how to win is great. You still need to go get the man talent because you are not playing in an AFC that is void of talent. Not only that, this is not the San Francisco team you had back when you was in San Francisco. That was an ultra talented team with Hall of Famers littered throughout that team. I mean, Patrick Willis, Navarro Bowman lined up as your two middle linebackers in that 3-4 defense. You had, Jesus Christ, how am I forgetting this man's name? He started getting into a lot of trouble after. I don't even want to talk about it now because that shouldn't have been what I remember to him. Shout out to him, though. But we remember those San Francisco 49ers team with Colin Kaepernick. Even when they had Alex Smith, Vernon Davis, some of his best years was on that team. Michael Crabtree's career resurgence. Obviously, the Richard Sherman. Don't you ever try me with a trash-ass receiver like Michael Crabtree. This is the result you gonna get. I don't think that's how he said it, actually. Nonetheless, when you, I'm wildin'. Anyways, back to, I gotta reroute the whole conversation because I forgot what I was talking about. Jesus Christ. My mind. Wish you a Merry Christmas to each one of you. Anyways, listen, back to the playoff games. Because I done forgot where I was at. Pittsburgh, I was talking about Derrick Henry, and how I want him to become a legend in Baltimore, and I want them to win this Super Bowl so that this team can be remembered forever. But listen, at the end of the day, it's no excuses for Baltimore. They have the team. The defense has been phenomenal the second half of the season. Shout out to Zach Orr for figuring this shit out because boy. This is also proof. John Harbaugh's patience pays off once again. I'm going to be honest with you. John Harbaugh has had a masterful season as a head coach. I know there's a lot of Raven haters out there, but if you just really own in on what John Harbaugh done, for one, they had one of the toughest schedules in the NFL. That's all right. We finished way above 500 with double-digit wins, and we won the division. Started off 0-2. Doesn't matter. Still finished in won the division. He lost a generational defensive head coach, replaced him with a rookie head coach, still found a way to maneuver that minefield. Oh, just so happened they secondary seemed to be rated number 1 in everything over the last couple weeks. Okay. You lose a huge part of your defense, not because of how great he was, just off of like reading knowing where to be and shit like that in Patrick Clinton, but just off of speed. You lose a lot of speed on your defense, and you got to play a lot of unknowns. He still maneuvered that. Your kicker. Worst season of his career. He still found a way to maneuver that. John Harbaugh has had a masterful season. I think at times people forget that John Harbaugh not only have to figure out how to be great enough for the Ravens, but he got to be great enough because he know he coaching a Hall of Fame quarterback. He know he going up against another Hall of Fame caliber offense in Cincinnati with Jamar Chase, Burrow, and Higgins. He know he coaching against the legendary Steelers and a phenomenal head coach in Mike Tomlin. He know Kevin Stefanski is a great head coach down there in Cleveland. John Harbaugh has had a phenomenal season. John Harbaugh is who went out and got Todd Monken. He the one who realized that Todd Monken could do a lot for this. I don't think people realize how great, like people smart people know how great a head coach John Harbaugh is, but when you really sit back and look at all the turns that John Harbaugh could have took left that would have fucked this thing all up or had us less great than we are now, you got to remember, John Harbaugh made the decision to not just go to Lamar Jackson, stay with Lamar Jackson. He won a Super Bowl with Joe Flacco. He stayed with Lamar Jackson. Not just when Joe Flacco got healthy. When they could have brought Flacco in that playoff game, he stayed with Lamar Jackson. I don't think a lot of the fans that call for John Harbaugh's job are clearly spoiled and don't really realize how great a head coach John Harbaugh is, because you could have far less talented head coaches. Like, nobody thought Andy Reid was a legend until Andy Reid got with Pat Mahomes. Nobody is calling Joe Flacco first ballot Hall of Famer. John Harbaugh got his first Super Bowl with that man. And I'm expecting Harbaugh to win some Super Bowls with Lamar Jackson. So, before too long, we could really be calling John Harbaugh one of the greatest head coaches, top 5 all time, if him and Lamar start ripping some of these hoes off. But I got utter faith in the Ravens, like I did in all those top teams going into the playoffs this year, all of those years, because the Ravens look great. And it's time for me to start having the faith that I had in all those other top teams. The Ravens, if they do, like I said about all those other top teams, if they do what they are supposed to do, they will beat the Steelers. I don't think the Steelers can score enough points to beat the Ravens, for one. I don't think the Steelers have a better defense right now than the Ravens. I don't think they have clearly they don't have a better quarterback. And I understand how much people might love Mike Tomlin, but I have never thought he was the better head coach between him and Harbaugh, as much as I love Mike Tomlin. But that could be just me being biased, because I'm always rock with my head coach. But I just see the greatness in John Harbaugh. To me, when you look at some of the bad hirings that Mike Tomlin has had over his tenure as head coach, like, we blame the quarterbacks and whatnot, but what if Mike Tomlin had hired better dudes to develop some of these quarterbacks that they had? Because even Mike Vrabel had great coaching for Ryan Tannehill. Even you look at some of these, Kevin O'Connell with Sam Darnold. At no point have any quarterback come into, now Russell Wilson looked good this year, but we're not thinking that's a resurgence based off of anything that they doing in Pittsburgh. More so it's just a great culture and he got people that believe in him. But where is the quarterback development in Pittsburgh? You look at John Harbaugh and the hirings that he done made. Even go back to when it was Joe Flacco and he needed to bring in the offensive dudes to help Joe Flacco get over that hump to get this offense. I just think at every step, Harbaugh has shown a willingness to not just grow, but to evolve along with the positions, the game, wherever it's at. Like, I truly see, that's one of the things that hurt Rex Ryan. He wanted to keep grounding and pounding when the game was moving towards a more pass-friendly type of league. John Harbaugh made the decision finally. We can still be great running the ball. We can still rely on the run game. But I need to bring somebody in here who can open up this pass game, because clearly we have to be able to make plays in that pass game if we want to get to where we want to get to. And so to me, I think it's foolish, to be honest with you, how people talk about John Harbaugh. I don't think enough people sit down and really think about what it takes to be a great head coach. And think about this. John Harbaugh done coached a lot of Hall of Famers, and we done seen a lot of Hall of Famers lose their way with other coaches where things don't go as great, yada, yada. You don't hear that about John Harbaugh. You don't hear about him having problems with different Hall of Fame players. Not only that, think about this. When you have a lot of Hall of Fame players, usually you're going to have areas of the ball that look great, right? If you got a lot of Hall of Famers on your defense, you probably going to lose defensive coaches, because Ed Reed make them look good. Ray Lewis make them look good. Haloti Ngata make them look good. Terrell Suggs make them look good. Jimmy Smith make them look good. Ladarius Webb make them look good. So you probably going to lose Jarrett Johnson, make them look good. Shout out Double J. I wasn't forgetting you, big dog. I just was just deciding in my head, since you left to the Chargers, was I going to say your name or not? But it's all love here. But you got to decide when you have that type of talent on your defense, not only do you have to figure out how to make that all mesh and work, even though those players could figure it out also, you still need coaching, but you got to figure out what defensive coach is going to get the most out of them. And then you lose that defensive coach, and then you got to hire another one. Then you lose that one and got to hire another one. Your offense gets stagnant. Okay, now who can I hire to bring in and juice this up? Okay, he get hired as in Denver. Gary Kubiak is that. Okay, so now who can I hire? Caldwell. Okay, he get hired. So you just every step throughout John Harbaugh's tenure as the Ravens, much like I talked about Lamar and Pat Mahomes, you could pinpoint the greatness and the evolution and the improvements of John Harbaugh from where he started to where he is now. I don't know what makes a good head coach to a lot of y'all, but I'm telling you, John Harbaugh is a phenomenal head coach. And the more I hear Raven fans say, oh, fire John Harbaugh. And then I even see Ravens reporters and Ravens like podcasters seconding that shit. This is why I tell y'all, you can't listen to everybody. Saint might not got the greatest setup. Saint definitely don't got the greatest setup. Saint might not got the greatest mic. Saint ain't got the best team behind him. Blah, blah, blah. Saint is better than a lot of these morons that are with more money behind them right now. Because I just listen to some of the shit that some of these people say. And I'm like, yo, why? Like, it is what it is. Anyways, I'm expecting the Ravens to win this game. I really don't feel like this should be close. I think this is the Ravens won 34-17 last time, and it really should have been 40 plus. I believe the Ravens come out and dominate this game. They have Derrick Henry. They have that, to me, who is just the ultimate equalizer. But I just feel like this Ravens team have everything they need. And I understand Zay Flowers will probably more than likely not play this game. Isaiah Likely is more than good enough. Mark Andrews is more than good enough. Derrick Henry is more than good enough. Justice Hill may be back for this game too, which is huge because that opened up a whole nother part of the offense. But Rashad Bateman has had a career year. I'm hoping that he can just continue his phenomenal year into the playoffs. And I have ultimate faith in Lamar Jackson. The way he is seeing the field right now, the way he is making the throws, he is giving his players opportunities to be great and vice versa. When they need Lamar to throw on the cape, he can do that. But now that he don't have to do it as much because of how great the players around him have been, I really think Baltimore make a statement for their last game in Baltimore this year. Chargers, Texans. I'm going to take the Chargers. Now, I've been thinking about this game a lot also because I really didn't know who I was going to take in this game because I really didn't want to pick against CJ Stroud. However, CJ Stroud has, I'm not going to say he regressed, but I mean, basically by the definition of the word, he has regressed this year. But I don't think it's a regression based off of his own, CJ Stroud just not a good quarterback no more. I think it's a lot of things. Injuries. I don't think people realize how much it affects you when players is in and out of the lineup. Like constantly in and out of the lineup because of injuries. That kills you. And then when your offensive line truly regressed this year. Like his offensive line was terrible. Like some of the shit that his offensive line was god awful this year. That's the second problem. He had a bad offensive line, players in and out of the lineup through injury. He lost both of his top receivers through to season-ending injuries. His defense is good, but you cannot ask a defense to do, especially late in the year where most offense is finally starting to get it going. Teams is comfortable. They know what they running. They know what they doing. These the best teams in the league. It's just very hard to me. It's going to be hard for me to see the Texans scoring enough points to be able to. Now, if the Texans can make this a defensive matchup, I can see them pulling out a win at the end with a bunch of field goal kicks. But Justin Herbert, to me, while he don't got the greatest talent around him, he got more talent at his disposal right now. And I know some people say, well, CJ still got Nico and Joe Mixon. That is true. Which is why I think this will be a competitive game. But I do believe at the end of this game, and it's so crazy because I'm about to say this for Herbert, but I can definitely see CJ Stroud doing this. I think Herbert will get the ball last and make the big play. will make the big throw, will make the big handoff or the switch that get them the big play, to get them the big result. I think Herbert is going to make that big play. And you want to know one of the things I noticed about Herbert when I was watching him this year, because I didn't tell y'all, but I watched a lot of Justin Herbert this year. Justin Herbert in the fourth quarter. So I talked about how bad I thought Justin Herbert was in the past in the fourth quarter. I always talk to y'all about, everybody love to praise Justin Herbert, but go look at them fourth quarters. When they need him to make a throw, he can't make the throw. When they need him to protect the ball, he don't protect the ball. When they need him to get in the end zone, he don't get it. Like, people kept praising Herbert for all these gaudy numbers, but in the fourth quarter, he didn't put up them gaudy numbers. Justin Herbert has been better in the fourth quarter. He has had some of the best fourth quarter play I have seen from him in his career. I love what he has done in the fourth quarter in a lot of these games. That Cincinnati game was big for me. Showing me that you could win that type of game against that type of quarterback when things go bad, go all the way left, and you let a team back in the game. Like, that showed me a lot with Justin Herbert. I think that the Chargers ultimately end up getting it done. I don't think the Chargers have enough offensively. I don't think the Chargers or the Texans have enough offensively. To be honest with you, I really wish these two teams was playing. I wish the Chargers were playing Baltimore or the Texans were playing Baltimore. And I wish either the Chargers and the Texans was playing Buffalo. I really don't like that both of these teams is playing each other, because Buffalo and Baltimore are the number 2 and 3 seed. They are playing Pittsburgh and Denver. Pittsburgh and Denver are far tougher teams than Chargers, Texans right now. I'm just being honest. So when people talk about how flawed the ranking system is in the playoffs, which is not something I ever really talk about. The only thing I ever talk about is I don't like that all the great quarterbacks play in the same division, because we'll never see them play in the Super Bowl, which it's also a flip side to that. If I believe they're so great and they always beating the NFC teams, we should know that every single time one of them get to the Super Bowl, they're going to win that ring. It's just like, damn, bro, if I got to spend 10 of my years playing against the best dude to get there, and I split that down the middle, but I could have got there every single year if I was in the other it's just a chicken and the egg situation. I guess that's what people say. They default to saying shit like that when they done talking about it. But Denver, Buffalo, where we at? Chargers, Texans are two. I don't like that they play each other, but nonetheless, I do think the Chargers will end up winning that game. But I think it'll be a close game, because I don't think either team. I could see this score being 20, 21, 24, 17, 20. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could see this being a 3-point game, a 2-point game. I could see this being a walk-off field goal for the win. Dead ass. Denver, Buffalo. We move to the Sunday. Well, actually, you know what? I'll come back and do the Sunday games. We're just going to stick with the Saturday games right now, the Saturday slate. So, matter of fact, let me spend some more time talking about these Chargers then. The path to victory for me, for the Chargers, they got to be able to. I know the Chargers defense will be good. I don't have any doubt that the Chargers, especially after I done seen what CJ Stroud done to close out the season. It's been a rough close to the season for CJ Stroud and this offense. And I just think when you go up against a defense like the Chargers that look as good as they look right now, I just don't think they have enough in with Houston right now. Like, Joe Mixon would have to have a huge game. A huge game. You know what? A game like this, and this is why I say everybody get paid to do a job, because a game like this is when your offensive coordinator got to be great. Every play he call have to be a productive play. You don't have the luxury. You actually do, because you're playing the Chargers. The statement I'm making, it would actually exist if you was playing the Bills, the Ravens, or Kansas City. So you know what? Scratch that. You do have room for error. I'm actually going to say that. As crazy as that sounds, the Texans actually do have room for error. However, you don't have a shit ton of room for error. At some point in time, it can get ugly in this game if you are not doing what you are supposed to be doing. So that's why I think to myself, if you're the offensive coordinator for the Texans, you got to have your best performance of the season. And to be quite frank with you, if you're the Texans, it won't get any easier than this, because Buffalo, Denver, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Kansas City, all of those teams, probably excluding Pittsburgh, better offensively than what you're about to play in each other. So I really think there's about to be a defensive battle. I really do. I think there's about to be a defensive battle, and I think Pittsburgh, and this, not Pittsburgh, and I think the Chargers going to end up winning it. This is one of the biggest things also. And this game is in Houston. Like the other game is in Baltimore. Turnovers will matter so much in a game like this. The team that turned that ball over is going to do so much harm to themselves. Like you would not even believe. You cannot turn the ball over in this game. You just cannot. If you turn the ball over in this game, you will probably lose this game. This is one of those games that I think will be so close contested. Like every possession is going to matter in this Houston game, in this Houston-LA game. Now, selfishly, I really wish this game was in LA. We'll probably never get a Charger game in LA. Because they play in the Pat Mahomes division. But I would love to see the playoffs go through SoFi. Just because I love SoFi. Shout out to the Rams, because we will be playing in SoFi. Think about that. If you Minnesota, you got to play you won 12 games and you got to go to SoFi. You should be happy. I'd rather play in SoFi. If I was a Minnesota Viking, I'd play in SoFi every day of the week over my own stadium. For one, you already know it's going to be hella Minnesota fans. Two, the weather in LA, man, stop playing with me. I'd rather play in SoFi every day of the fucking week. If I ever play Madden again and I create a franchise, I'm going to be on the Rams playing in SoFi. Back in my day when I played Madden a lot, when I played like heavy, like was making money playing Madden and shit, playing tournaments and shit, ranked Madden playing shit. To practice, to get better at the game and shit. This is before Madden became cheese. One of the things that I used to do is play franchise mode, right? But I make every team, everybody on every team a 99. So every quarterback, well, not every quarterback, there's got to be some bums out there, you know what I'm saying? There's got to be some bums. I ain't never in my life made Baker Mayfield higher than like a 92. For like 3 years, I didn't even touch that motherfucker's rating. He just got worse and worse each year. Every year I made Lamar, Allen, Mahomes. I made them 99s. I made Jalen Hurts a 99 with some caveats. Like I can't have Jalen Hurts out there slinging that pill like Pat Mahomes, bro. I just can't. I used to make Peyton a 99. Big Brady was a 99. One year I made Brady a 99 speed just to see what it was going to be like. I couldn't take it. That motherfucker took off on me in the pocket one time when I was playing it. And I always play on All Madden. I never play on anything less than All Madden. Because you can't get better at a game by playing on the lowest difficulties. That's just crazy. But, well, MLB The Show has entered the chat. But I remember playing against, now back in the day, I didn't use the Rams because they was ugly. That team was hideous. I used to always use, but this is going to sound crazy. The team that I used to use back in the day when I was playing franchise before, like this is when the Ravens had like Joe Flacco on it. I didn't want to take them legends off of the Ravens because they were so near and dear to my heart. So I never took nobody off the Ravens. I only put better players on the Ravens. So them motherfuckers that have like Ray Lewis and motherfucking Pat Willis, both was on the team. They have Ed Reed and Bob Sanders at safety. They have Joe Flacco be 99 overall. Joe Flacco always got the 99 overall treatment. 99 arm. See, I couldn't have Jalen Hurts out there slinging that hole like Joe Flacco. You know what I'm saying? Like Joe Flacco. Who else I had on that hole? I was always the Bills though, cause I love the Bills unis. They throw back unis and Orchard Park and shit. I used to be the Bills every single time I played. This is way before they had Josh Allen. This is when they had Ryan Fitzpatrick, sorry ass. Shout out to Ryan Fitzpatrick. My favorite sorry quarterback of all time is Ryan Fitzpatrick. But my love for Ryan Fitzpatrick is unreal. Like, if you ask my homie E, he just think it is so hilarious how much I love Ryan Fitzpatrick before everybody else started loving this sorry motherfucker. Because the very first quarterback that I ever said, like I had never said that this is the worst quarterback I've ever seen. The first quarterback I ever said that about was Ryan Fitzpatrick. I was watching this nigga one game when he was with the Bills, and I was just sitting. I think he threw like 4 or 5 interceptions, and it wasn't even just the interceptions. He was throwing terrible interceptions. And I was watching him play, and he was just doing everything wrong. And I remember saying to myself, yo, this got to be the worst fucking quarterback I have ever seen play. He was the very first quarterback that made me think that. And so now, I absolutely love Ryan Fitzpatrick, bro. Now, he is not the worst quarterback I've ever seen play now, if I had to update my resume. But I'm going to always give him that title as a term of endearment to him. Now, if you're the worst quarterback I ever seen play, it's no longer a term of endearment. Only for Ryan Fitzpatrick it is. But for other quarterbacks like man's over there in Dallas, Cooper Rush, Jesus Christ, that's a bad quarterback. Anyways, I would always be the Bills on Madden, and I'd always I'm trying to think of the motherfucker I always have. Oh, Von Miller would always be on my team. So it's always crazy that Von Miller ended up on the Bills now, and he was always on my team in Madden. Every single year I took that motherfucker off of Denver and put him right on my team. And I never was an NFC team, except for once. Once I played as the Cardinals, but I never played with the Cardinals again, because I like they field at first. I like they field in their unis, and they field look real clean on Madden at one point in time. But I think one of Madden's biggest problems is they don't do enough with these stadiums. Like, the stadium should play such a bigger part in these games. From the noise, from the atmosphere, from like, I don't understand how you go into all of these stadiums and you don't like I know people would like to believe it's just gameplay, but people like the theatrics and shit, my guy. Dead ass. People want to see all of these stadium parts and shit like that. Like, not just the same bland ass locker room that everybody else got. Like, I just don't understand. But coding is hard, Saint. All right. Anyways, I appreciate y'all for joining me. When we return, we'll talk about Sunday. Sunday slate. Wild card weekend is here. The playoffs is here. I'm excited. Saint has Baltimore and Saint has the Chargers. With that being said, I appreciate you for joining me on another episode of Kicking It With Saint. Tell somebody you fuck with him. Tell somebody you love him. You could be anything in this world, so choose to be kind to somebody today. Like, subscribe, share. Tell a friend to tell a friend. I fuck with you. I love you. My arm hurts, so the salute, it come up kind of slow right now because my shoulder is killing me. But Saint out.
No, I thought it generally sucked. I didn't think it was a specific suck. I thought it was like an all-encompassing type of suck. So, we're going to try and rectify that. But for right now, I'm going to be pretty pissed about it.
I got the moves like hot sauce. Lil' mama taking the top off. I'm laying down getting topped off. After this, she know she getting knocked off. I know she loving the money, so I keep on thumbing and thumbing. She say she horny when she taking shots, so I keep them coming and coming. Now I'm putting dick in her tummy. Scoop her up like I'm raking her something. You would think shawty red track, the way that she running and running. You getting dumber and dumber. You out here chasing the bone. After she finished from giving me dome, the Uber is taking her home. Tight.